Are you a travel blogger looking to make more money from your blog? If so, this review is for you because I am reviewing Travelpayouts' new tool, Emerald. This just got brought out of beta, and I've been testing it for a bit on my old travel site, but we're going to go through a tutorial of installing it on your new site, talk about if it has speed issues, talk about if I think it'll actually make anybody more money with affiliates, and talk about the best ways to use it to improve your website. Thank you to Travelpayouts for sponsoring this video. If you want to get Emerald, I'm going to drop a link in the description of this video, or you can go to sheknowsseo.co/emerald, and you'll be able to join and sign up for Emerald today. Use code NINA, N-I-N-A, and you'll get $25 as a bonus towards your first payout with Travelpayouts. That's enough of the intro. Let's get right into this review because I know you want to know how Emerald works. You can get to Emerald by going into your Travelpayouts and logging in. Then you'll see that right now they're advertising Emerald up here, but that's because I've already opted in. So what you want to do is go over to Tech Solutions, and that's where you're going to find Link Switcher and Emerald. Now, I've only recently turned these on for this case study site, so they're still processing, but they start working very quickly, which is really cool. However, it has not been quick enough that I can immediately report any income. So definitely stick with me and we'll follow up on that in the future because we're going to talk about this for my Ottawa case study site. So here we have Link Switcher running. Now, if you watched my last video in the last, I think it was update 3 in the series before I had to pause the series because health, you got to take care of yourself. And I moved across the country. So that took longer than expected. I mentioned that I needed to go through and change all of my affiliate links because it was getting really challenging to figure out where all my income was coming from. Well, the Link Switcher tool moved out of beta, and so I felt really confident testing it on this site. So all I had to do was come here and I literally just clicked turn on, right where it says pause tool. Initially it said turn this on. Bing, bam, boom, it's running. Now the great thing is you can still customize it. So I could go through and decide that I don't want certain of these companies to be switched from other programs. So for some of them, I had them direct. For some of them, I had them through CJ. For others, I don't even know where they were all coming from because this site was basically it's 11 p.m. I need something to do sort of a site when I first started it. So this has made it really easy to make sure that all of my links are going to be pointed to one spot. It also means I'm not going to have to be hunting down affiliate payments the way that I was before. So now I know my income is all going to come in. It'll be easily reported within Travelpayouts, which is super simple and has great reporting. And I'm not going to have to go and figure out the 40 cents I made from one of them or something and when I'm ever going to hit the threshold to get paid. Now you can also exclude pages. So let's say you have something that you know is doing amazing with Viator or Viator, I don't know how you pronounce it. And it's one of those I've only ever read and it causes problems in videos like this. But I'd be able to go through and say, hey, that one's doing really great direct. I don't want to touch it right now. I could also have it if maybe something was sponsored by a company and I don't want it to change to an affiliate link. Get Your Guide often does sponsored experiences and I don't know the terms of them, but potentially, let's say Get Your Guide didn't want you to have an affiliate link. They wanted you to use their actual link. We don't want to get it changed. You would just pop the URL of that page in here, save settings, it turns it off immediately. Next, we have Emerald. Now, Emerald is what I'm probably most excited for as someone who really likes something that's pretty, but hates creating pretty things. I'm not a visual thinker. I'm not very good at organizing that. So just like Link Switcher, it was a little green button here where it says pause tool now, but at the time it said to start it. And so I basically got to opt in. So you do not have to have Emerald. You do not have to have Link Switcher, and you can have only one or the other if you prefer. But what this is going to do is it's adding a bunch of AI powered, but really cute little elements within your page. What I really like about it is that there's no pop-ups. There's nothing bothersome for your audience. It's getting in the way for them. And that if you don't like certain elements, you can turn them off. So for this, let's do smart recommendations because I've just started finding it on some pages. Again, I just turned it on. And the really cool thing that I've realized as I've been testing this is that it only starts processing when someone hits that page. So it's not going to have an Emerald thing populate anywhere until people are going to those pages because the AI needs to learn about them. And my hypothesis, not an engineer for them, is that it's ignoring pages that aren't getting traffic. So it's not adding a bunch of speed to your site because it's only focusing on the places where it can actually optimize for conversions. So I was clicking around and testing after I installed this. I've had it on another site before, but wanted to test it here so I could actually figure out what pages to show you guys. And I noticed the second I went to these pages, they started showing up in this report. However, I could say, hey, you know what? I don't want best in affiliate links. I don't want smart recommendations. I don't want travel service previews. And I'll tell you about what those mean individually in a moment. I could either decide to turn it off for a specific page, or I could turn it off for the entire website if I want to. And that is such a great way to have control over your affiliate links. As someone who curates a lot of my pages, not every single one, but a lot of them, I don't want to have things auto-inserting where I've done a lot of hard work. Or something that I'm A/B testing to see like, hey, does this do better than that? This would mess up all of those case studies I like to do. So what I would do then is go to exclude specific pages. I'd pop in the URL, save settings. I do find you have to clear your cache, otherwise it'll keep showing it, but that's pretty common. And then bam, it's ready. So first, let's talk about best fit affiliate links. Essentially, this is where you linked directly to a brand, but it was not an affiliate link. It could also be, sometimes it's picking up on like direct links to a homepage or an information page, and I don't always think to make those affiliates, but you definitely can, and it'll auto convert it for you, which is really, really helpful. So basically it's using the AI to go through your content and figure out what products and services your users are most likely to buy, and then it's adding in that link for them. Now, this can have issues, I think. Again, I would want to test this a bit more per post because I'm a control freak. So if I've been really, really careful about how I added links to that post, then maybe I won't want this. But again, for those posts, we would just exclude them. So let's say I'm running a test comparing how links in 2 different hotel reviews work and what spot converts better. And I don't have something like Microsoft Clarity set up for free. It's a free heat map tool. It's very helpful. Then I might want to wait and test it, or maybe I'm using a UTM or something to test it. But I still want to make sure I'm not adjusting my experiment by having a bunch of extra links kind of get in the way. Well, I've already said I would then exclude it. So I don't really see an issue with that. And honestly, I think it's going to help a lot of those of us who are quite lazy with our affiliate links, myself included, and those of us who want to kind of monetize content, but really don't know where to start, especially if it's informational. A lot of people really struggle to monetize those. Next is smart recommendations. This is probably the thing I'm most excited for. So I pulled up my where to stay post on my Ottawa Things to Do site. This does need an update. So if you're from Ottawa, give me some slack. I'm going to deal with it. But you can see here I have my usual yellow call out boxes. But what looks much, much nicer is the Travel Payouts box here. This is auto added by Travel Payouts. It is adding information like 7.8 rating, medium price, and most popular among my followers, which is true. It is the most booked hotel of my followers. It's one of the most popular ones in Ottawa. I think this is much better for conversions than my little yellow one up here. And in fact, I'm going to go through and remove my yellow one because I think this is going to do way, way better. I also think it's not quite as I don't know, sometimes this yellow is a bit garish, and I have a new monitor and I'm really noticing it on the color here. So I think this is a really helpful way to make something that I don't have to update as often. I didn't have to go through and add all these emojis. I'm a lazy girl. I don't want to. I have custom coded things in the past that do it. But if I could have had something this whole time doing it automatically, I wouldn't have had to learn how to custom code the way that I did. I would have been a much happier person and not swearing at my CSS and my JavaScript at 2 a.m. But that's not the only one. If we keep scrolling, you'll see this other section here. So we have the planning your trip last minute. So it has some that are basically quick things you could book almost immediately. What I really love is that it's figured out from my post, and the initial version of Emerald didn't do this. I've been in the beta since basically it was first announced. Now that it's out of beta, oh my God, they've improved it. So here we can see that it actually says walk to the National Gallery, stay next to the Rideau shopping. It's figured out the section of my post that we're in, downtown Ottawa. These are all things in downtown Ottawa. This is amazing. It's also actually picking up on hotels that I have mentioned here. None of these are things that I left out of this post. These are all things in the post. And in fact, I like that a lot better than my weird little places to stay in Centertown. And then I was testing a Stay 22 map here as well. Now I think there's way too much happening, so I'm going to get rid of that for this purpose. So this is such a great easy thing for people to read. My only minor complaint is that the colors right now, you can't adjust them. And because of the link colors on my website being blue, it means that the contrast ratio from this blue to the background color isn't quite what I would want. We would typically want to have it a higher contrast color for accessibility purposes. So what I'm actually going to do is go and change my link color because I have that capability. I can't currently change the background color of the travel payouts boxes, but I can control that. So not a really big hardship. And honestly, I don't think this is the prettiest blue in the world anyway, but you can really notice it when it's not bolded. So I want to make sure things are accessible for my audience. Otherwise, I think it's very readable. I like that it's inheriting from my theme. So it is pretty easy size-wise for people to follow. And if we scroll more, don't remember where exactly the next one was. There it is. Now we have our top 3 hotels in Ottawa, and you can see again, it's adjusted. So it's adjusting based on this post to target different intents and different people. Now, I don't think these ones are in Ottawa South. I'm actually not sure. I'd have to check that. Byward Blue, I don't believe is. It kind of borders it, I guess. But it's definitely accessible. That being said, Ottawa is a hard one to get affiliates for. We just don't have that many things, and most of our hotels are kind of in the same spot. So I'm still very happy with this. I like that it has a star rating. It has like the actual rating there, and it's auto updating. I used to like format my hotel reviews with star ratings and like the physical rating written out, and it got so annoying to keep it updated. This is great. This saves me so much time and hassle. And I think this pops really well while being much more subtle than the kind of very bright yellows we were seeing before. And as we keep scrolling, you can also see all the grow boxes I'm testing. I tried to turn it down. It doesn't seem to be listening to me when I turned it down, so who knows what's happening there. But you can see that you can still get through my whole post. Now, the only thing I would love for them to add is that it would add in your conclusion or at the end of your conclusion as a CTA. It currently is auto inserting based on like the post, but it's also learning each time someone's in there. So it will keep adjusting. I found when I've gone through, things tend to solidify, but as I go back again and again, sometimes like stuff lower on is moving based on what I'm clicking in my test, which has been really cool because I have been probably inflating my clicks a lot right now with the amount of incognito windows I've been testing this in. And lastly, we have our travel service previews. Now, this is when you're on a site and you can hover over something like the Fairmont Chateau Laurier, and it has this pop-up that comes up. Now, it's a subtle pop-up, and unlike any sort of other pop-ups that are like interstitials, which is when it's like you click to go there and then it's like something happens in the middle, there's like a new page that shows up that's really annoying. What I appreciate about this is it's triggered by someone taking an action. And if I had moved quickly enough and just clicked the Fairmont Chateau Laurier, I never would have noticed that this was here. I would have just clicked and gone. I really like that it has like some featured notes here, which I think are going to help increase conversions. I really like this animated element. Unless I'm recording like I am now, my ADHD is getting very distracted by it, to be honest. But I mean, I don't really think my audience are probably sitting there recording the way I am, so hopefully they don't mind. But I do think overall this is a great little preview, and I like that it does show as well which company this is for. So it makes it really obvious for my audience to figure out where they're going so that they know what's going to happen. So will this make you more money? Honestly, so far, I don't know. I've started this test. This is more of a tutorial / review of like the setup, how it works, first impressions. At a glance, I can say that I think this is well optimized. A lot of the things are where I would personally add them. They were actually more robust than I would have added because I am lazy. And I do think that the fact that we can control all these elements is going to be the most important thing for our monetization. However, the reason I don't think this would make you more money is if you do not have any content for it to monetize. So we have to remember that users are not always primed to make a booking depending on the post they're in. Sure, you might up your income a tiny bit. Maybe you'll like add on $100 a month, which I'm not saying is chump change. Like obviously cost of living is crazy. That's great money to have that you didn't have before. But you could turn that into thousands of dollars with one extra change. And that's thinking of user intent. So you'll notice the post that I was showing you, my where to stay in Ottawa post. This is one of those ones that has kind of a mid-level intent. So it's partially that someone might want to be looking at this because they're ready to book a hotel. Many people are just looking to learn about the neighborhoods. And so I think this post is not going to do nearly as well as one of the other posts that I have, which is my Ottawa hotels with pools. Let me go pull that one up to show you.
So this one has a very clear intent. People want to know which hotels have pools. They are clearly ready to book that hotel. They are ready to book that pool. So writing something with a clear, it's called buyer intent. They're also called affiliate keywords or commercial keywords. And what I often talk about is the AIDA funnel. It's a marketing funnel. This would be around the desire point, because action would be actually booking the hotel, and they can't do that on our site. They got to go to booking.com to do that. But we need posts like this. So if all of your content is informational, first of all, that's not a great monetization strategy, because your audience are typically not going to be ready to buy. Yes, once in a while they might be, but overall, you're going to do way better with content like this. And I think the great thing about Emerald is they say nowadays that with marketing, people need to see something. It used to be 18 times. They're saying it's closer to 40 times now before someone buys. And Emerald, even if it's not going to make conversions magically appear when someone's not ready to book, again, I think it'll catch some people who are, but you can't fault people for not being ready. It's going to at least get it into their head over and over and over again. So by the time they're like, okay, I came to your site to learn about Rome, now I'm ready to book my trip to Rome, they're going to be like, I remember you mentioning this hotel was really good. You've talked about it a lot. Okay, I'm going to go for it. So I do believe this is going to be a money game changer for people. And I really think it's going to help those of us who are time poor optimize our websites. And the best part of Travel Payouts by far for me is the reporting, where you're going to be able to see what income you made and where it came from. This is so important. You could even see back when we were on the homepage, it says specifically how much you've earned through Emerald so far. Again, I just set this up for this recording, so I haven't really been able to make any money yet. It'll take a bit, I'm sure. But I really appreciate that we know where our income is coming from, because as digital marketers, this firsthand data is the most important and most powerful thing we have. Before I go, I do want to note 2 issues that might happen that would prevent Emerald from running properly on your site. Number 1, if you have been declined by Booking.com or Viator via Travel Payouts, it needs both of those running to be able to process, because the majority of its recommendations are going to be tour and hotel related. So we want to make sure that we are approved for those. Otherwise, this is not going to work. However, the great thing is with Travel Payouts that you can usually get in at a much lower traffic threshold than Booking.com direct, which is just kind of a crapshoot. And you can get into Viator basically guaranteed if you have some good content on your site and you got a bit of traffic going. The second reason is if you haven't cleared your cache after you've set this up. So you need to make sure you have the script running on your site. If you don't have their app to install this, then you'd go to the tech solutions area and you can see these little scripts here. It's going to be the same for both of these. So you only need to install it once. You're going to grab it, put it in your header and install it on your site. And then you're going to clear your cache. Same if you're uploading the plugin, you are going to clear your cache, because otherwise it's kind of like this old version of yourself that you haven't refreshed your license photo to match your new hair color. I mean, on my driver's license until a month ago, I was still a redhead from when I dyed my hair orange back in school. So it didn't look like me at all. Same thing here. You got to refresh that ID essentially and clear. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, does it slow down your site? So I ran a speed test. And again, I very recently installed this. And I typically find when you first install script, it will take maybe 48 hours to settle. However, my site's still loading in 3 seconds. And that's really, really strong, especially honestly, I have not updated any plugins on the back end of this site in a while. So there's some database speed issues to kind of deal with. But you can see here, we are currently in web page test. I have a video on how this works if you want to know more. But I'm running Grow, I'm running Stay 22, and I'm running Emerald all at the same time. And I'm not having major speed issues. That's kind of insane. And definitely because Emerald is the first one loading. If anything was going to cause speed issues, we would see it really quickly. So we can see Emerald is loading right here. It takes a minute to process and then it loads, but it is loading after all of my main content. And in fact, Google Tag Manager is slower than it is. So I think that's really great. Now, I'm not discounting that Emerald and Grow and everything else, obviously all of these things are adding some extra load time to my site a little bit. But the fact that it's running in 2.8 seconds on repeat, oh, that's a first run. Okay, I think that's my average then, pardon me. My average run, my second run was 3.1 first load and then 2.9 when it reruns. So I'm averaging 3 seconds for a load. That's really great, especially because I have massive images here. Again, I'm running 3 different high intensity codes that are pretty, like, I don't know, not well known, but like would be expected to slow things down. And the fact that I'm using Link Switcher and Emerald at the same time, which means it's having to run the code, I would assume twice, but yeah, no speed issues to report, which I am incredibly impressed by. So definitely something to keep in mind. However, if you have major speed issues on your site already, I would clean those up first because this is going to be a problem for you since it's loading after the rest of your content. If your content is taking like 10 seconds to load and someone clicks on something before those 10 seconds, they won't actually get to interact with Emerald or with the link switcher. So speed up your site first because that's already going to be a problem for you anyway.
That's a wrap on Travelpayouts Emerald. I'm going to be keeping it installed on my case study site so I can keep testing how it works. I do plan to remove some of my affiliate optimizations that I previously had. Number one, I think some of them probably have broken links, but number two, I think that they are getting in the way of the effectiveness of the Travelpayouts ones, and I will be keeping a close eye on how those incomes are going. That way I can report back in the next case study I managed to do, because now that we finally have something new that's happened with that website, since I've been a very negligent parent for it for a while. Before we go, I just want to say thank you again to Travelpayouts for sponsoring this video and remind you that if you want to sign up for Emerald, use sheknowsSEO.co/Emerald and you'll get taken directly to understand how it works and to sign up. And then if you input code NINA, N-I-N-A, you will get a $25 bonus when you sign up to work with Travelpayouts for the first time. If you want to learn more about Travelpayouts, I'm going to put a video on the screen right now that has my full in-depth Travelpayouts review. Now, this is before Emerald, so I don't mention Emerald in it, but I go in-depth into their other ways to help you affiliate market better and make more money with your blog. Happy blogging, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.